Hey, Sally, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in our 8-week sales mastery course, but they might be where you were just 2 months ago. So before we start, I'd love it if you can share what kind of firm you have, Sally, and also where you're located in the country.
Sure. So I offer bookkeeping services to small business owners that are struggling and feel helpless and alone in their bookkeeping, I'll say adventure, because a lot of them are adventures. And I am in Leominster, Massachusetts. I am a solopreneur, and I started or relaunched my bookkeeping business in the fall of 2024.
Awesome. And what were things like in your firm before as that related to your sales process and closing and converting those conversations into paying clients?
So, with not having any or a lot of sales training, it was really you're just winging it, right? You're getting on the phone with someone and you're trying to talk, as you would say, bookkeeping and ease with them. And I've learned that that isn't what you do. So I was fortunate enough because I was charging lower amounts that most of the time when I got on a sales call, the person did engage in my services, but I wasn't charging enough.
Yeah. How much money do you think you were undercharging yourself or leaving on the table prior to meeting with us where you said, okay, enough's enough. I've got to make a change. Like, what was that
So,
tipping point for you?
or So for cleanups, I know I was leaving a lot on the table because it would take sometimes, 24, 48, a whole week's worth of work sometimes for some of these larger cleanups. And some of them I did get a decent amount, maybe like 2,100, but the bulk of them were way down in like the $800 range. So I really lost a lot of money and left it on the table there. In terms of reoccurring bookkeeping, I've set a minimum, and I would say that it's definitely more than I charge with any of my clients. And the last two I signed up at that minimum of my new minimum. And the other clients, my average was maybe 350 a month. So I definitely was leaving a lot of money on the table, and I think ultimately setting myself up for a failure in terms of being overworked and undervalued.
Yeah. And what was the moment you decided to do something about it? You said, okay, I've got to make a change. I can't keep going the way I've been going.
Well, I just knew that in order to grow my firm, I needed to have some sales training and really be able to close calls at higher rates. And I heard about your course. I had done Google search, and I've checked everyone out, and no one seemed to have what the Abundant Accountant has. And your reputation is really stellar. So I just,
Thank you.
as you know, was like kind of lurking around, like different people were asking questions, and I just knew when I got on a call with you that I was ready to sign up. I just knew that I had to get this
Yeah.
process down because as a solopreneur, I feel like now I can say I have a sales process and it's in place. I can focus on other things and know that this is a rinse and repeat. I have all the templates, I have all the knowledge, and I just can hit the ground running when I'm on a sales call with someone now. A
Now
lot of
you,
confidence.
yeah, you got lots of confidence now, for that's for sure.
Yeah.
When you said you did a lot of research and you were checking a bunch of things out, what were your main concerns in evaluating a sales coaching program that would work for you or not? Like, what were you looking at others that was different than the abundant accountant?
I would say I want to make sure that I wasn't going to be paying money for something that didn't work, that the person had a good track record. And I really couldn't find a lot on other programs where that was the case. A lot of it tended to be like coaching. Not that this process wasn't a coaching process, but
Yeah.
your process is a solid, bulletproof, this is what you do.
Yeah.
Uh, One thing I'll add too is when I signed up, I thought it was going to be more of I'm going to watch some videos, I'm going to take some notes, and I'm just going to go on these sales calls. And what I really liked about it is that it's so well thought out, and that when you go through the modules that they build on each other, but more importantly, you're building your customized sales plan for your business. That it's not like for a CPA, like because there's so many, services that other professionals, accounting professionals offer that I don't.
Yeah, love it. And throughout the modules, you also turned in your homework assignment every week, which is creating that sales process. So
Yes,
you did the work, Sallie.
did. And I have to say that is, I didn't expect that either. I didn't, you can sign up for classes. I've signed up for classes before. And if you don't do the work or folks don't do the work, then no one's going to like chase you down. But your team is like, no, no, we know you invested this money
Yeah.
and in your business, and that we want to make sure you're successful. And I would say that was really a red thread, if you will, through the whole program. Like, we want you to be successful.
We do. It
Agree.
is very important to us. Yes,
Yeah.
we want to continue our great reputation and having people like you have great results. So why don't you share with us your results that you had? Obviously, you have more confidence. You have your bulletproof process. It's rinse and repeat. But what have been some of your financial wins that you've had, Sallie, in just the last 8 weeks? I know you had one on a cleanup. You had some on the monthly. Your minimum fees have, I think, doubled. But why don't you share with us?
So you're talking about the actual net gain.
Sure.
I can't, I feel bad because I don't remember the exact numbers,
You
but
can
I
say
know that,
upwards of, or
yeah. So I believe the one of them is $12,000 net gain
yeah.
annually because of the high cleanup fee. Like, I would have never charged that fee before, but it's a nasty cleanup and I should get paid what I should get paid. And then for reoccurring revenue, it's going to equal probably another, good $15,000 annually. And that's only two clients,
I know.
right?
So
So,
what's the total? That's like 27,000?
yeah, I was going to say it's definitely up there. And I'm happy to know that I can bring in, as you will say, private jet clients.
Yes.
So I can focus on really, my goal is to build that relationship and offer, just
Oh,
stellar. I mean, I offer stellar bookkeeping services today, but I want to add to that, right? I want my customers to understand that they're going to get more from me
yeah.
because of the fact that I have more time to give to them.
Love it. Um,
Yeah.
I'd love it, Sallie, if you could share what was your experience like during the 8 weeks? I know you've touched on it, like we were always making sure that you succeeded and turned in your homework and checking in on you. But is there anything else you'd love to share about what your experience was like during the 8 weeks?
For me, I had to really dig deep. It was very thought provoking in terms of, okay, what is my mission statement? What is my value?
Mhm.
Uh, for me, going back and having to dig and think about that, and the prompts are great, but I had to go in and do some inner work to say this is the business that I want to build.
Yeah.
So I think because it was just more thought provoking, and the work, it was a lot of work, but I was lucky that I had a little bit of capacity, and I knew that if I could get ahead of it, that it wouldn't be so much stress. Like, I have a little bit of capacity where most folks didn't or don't. So I was able to get ahead. So when month end hit, that I had some leeway.
Yeah.
So, but I found it, even though it was a lot of work, I thought it was, I don't know if fun's the word, but I thought it was fulfilling to know that I have everything I need now
Awesome.
for my business.
And how much of what you learned, Sallie, were you able to implement right away in your firm? I get asked that quite a bit. Like, how long do I have to wait the whole 8 weeks until I can start using it? How
No,
much
absolutely
of,
not. I
yeah,
had a sales call and I knew that I was beginning the program. So I pushed the sales call out about 10 days. And I knew that I had the confidence just from signing up for the class that even though I was throwing a number out there that felt uncomfortable, it didn't matter. I still had the confidence from just signing up for the class.
yeah,
But you can immediately put in what you learn. I would say give it a week. You got to at least start doing some training, but it's not the 8 weeks. You are
yeah,
clearly able to use the information as you go through the program.
yeah. And Sallie, what did you think about the structure and the mechanics of the 8 week sales mastery course?
Oh, I thought it was great. I love the fact that you're starting to work on the
Mm,
inner business owner first and how you value yourself. And, you're really doing the work on your mission. Like, why am I here? Why do I want to offer bookkeeping services or accounting services to uh, businesses? What type of business? So, it built on each other. You have you're working on yourself first because that's really the mindset. A lot of people can go through the mechanics of, um, you know, saying certain things, but when you have to dig deeper and the mechanics of the program build on each other, by the time you get to the end, I kept on saying, wow, this is a perfect place. This piece, this is another perfect, like it just was perfect. Like the way it built on each other's, definitely happy that, and I'm sure it's better than any other program out there.
well, thank you.
No, really, because I think a lot of them are just more coaching and they don't have that proven system.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about that proven system? Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm getting more software or I'm getting like, a system. But can you walk us through what the program flow was or the sales structure and system that you implemented was like from your perspective, being the firm owner with your firm owner hat on?
Sure. So when I went through the program, I was able to take each step. So when I did talk to it with a customer or a potential customer, that I was able to be able to apply what I learned that week. I'm not sure if that's the
Yeah.
question you're asking, or not. Maybe
I mean,
clarify for me.
every firm owner sees it from a different perspective. So I think that's great. You were able to implement right away and create, from your homework assignments, use it in your conversations with your prospects and your current clients right out the gate. All of it might not have come together full circle until more towards the end, but you were able to utilize different elements of what you were learning and apply it immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you're right, it wasn't just the software. You teach all the lessons. It's updated often. You can tell that you do that. And you're very clear. One thing I really like, I mean, I like the whole thing, but what I liked is when we had our homework, you had a separate homework video.
Yes.
And I like the way that you had us set ourselves up for success before even starting, right? Okay, I need you to do this. This is what you're going to do. And if you're going to start on this date, then this has to be, this has to be done. And so if it's a proven system, you have to follow the system in order for it to be successful.
Yeah, when we talk system, we mean steps because there is no
Yes,
software.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
Yeah,
point.
awesome. Well, Sallie, thank you so much for sharing so openly and honest with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling with us. I'm just curious, did you have any skepticisms before you started doing your due diligence and doing your research on me, that you were like, well, I just don't know if this will work for me, or I don't know if this will take my firm to the next level, or I don't know if this will take the effort because we met because you were already doing marketing and you had leads coming in, you just weren't converting them. But I'd love it if you could share any initial skepticisms or fears that maybe you even had while you were doing your research, even though by the time we spoke, you had done all your due diligence. But what about for those firm owners that also might be wondering, well, it worked for all these people, but I don't know if it'll work for me, or any fears that you had?
So my biggest fear was around the investment.
Yeah.
I'm someone that if I want to do something and I feel like it's of value and that it's going to help me in the long run, then I will jump in with all feet. I'm not going to like take too long to make a decision. But for me, I think that was the reputation, knowing that I'm going to invest this amount in myself and my business, and that investment is already paid back itself. So for me, I think it's like anything, solopreneur, just launching. I had to consider, is this something that I can financially do? And I said, you know what, I have to, because I don't want to say in order to make money, you have to spend money, but you have to have systems in place. And I
Yeah.
knew that sales was not, definitely might not, it's not my weakest point, but I obviously didn't have a
You were
process.
just winging it before,
Oh,
so Right? Yeah, awesome. And lastly, Sally, before we wrap up, what would you share with another firm owner that might be where you were 2 months ago or 3 months ago with the same exact fears on the investment and they're just starting out and they're, one woman, one man show? What would you share with another firm owner now that you're on the other side of it? You've had great success just off 2 sales meetings. What would you share with that firm owner that maybe you wish you would have heard in one of these videos that might support them?
For me, it was like there's a lot of tax professionals in the course, and there are bookkeepers, and then there are tax professionals that do bookkeeping in the course. And I was looking at the services that they offer versus what I can offer. Obviously, their ticket, their price is much higher than mine. And I feel like if you are a bookkeeper and you are looking to really grow your business, so you don't have to like you can scale it but still have a life, that this will work for bookkeepers as well, because you're just taking that system and putting in place, like I said, to customize it for your business. So yeah,
Awesome.
it
Well,
works for bookkeepers too.
yeah, works for bookkeepers, CFO advisory, tax
Everyone.
planning, monthly accounting. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, Sally, so much for taking out the time to share your experience with others who might be considering enrolling in our 8-week sales mastery course. It's been an honor to watch your growth, and I can't wait to see what's next on the horizon for you. This is just the beginning.
it
So
is just the beginning. Thank you, Michelle. It was a pleasure talking with you and talking about the abundant accountant.
thank you.
You're welcome.